Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian families collection. For today's video we're going to be looking at this lovely old vintage set. This is the Tomy edition of the Pony and Caravan. There's been a few different colourways of this mould over the years, so if we have a look in the 40th anniversary collection book, this book shows the Japanese collection. We can see it first appears here in 1989 as part of the Misty Forest range. You can see it's this kind of pink and red mystical caravan with this mystical Pegasus-esque looking pony, but definitely this mould. Then in around 1989-1990 it gets brought into the UK range by Tomy in this colourway. This colourway matches very closely with the original colourway of the Rose of Sylvania canal boat. So it's definitely got this very vintage red, yellow, green vibe that Tomy were going for in this era. And then we see a further colourway brought out by Flair in around about 2004, and it's this much more muted brown and red colourway. I don't have this particular version, so I'll pop a picture of it here. I also couldn't find either of these versions in the 40th anniversary collection book, so that leads me to believe that they weren't released directly in Japan. Canonically, the owners of this caravan are the Underwood Badger family, who you can see here. They were first released into the range in 1989-1990 as well. And then we saw the later edition by Flair of these lovely grandparents from a celebration set. That celebration set was around about 2012. The 6 figures you see in the middle here, they are from childhood. So these are the 1990 version, I think, because they've got these open hands. And then I added these to my collection much later, secondhand off eBay. You can definitely see the difference in wear from play of these older figures. The father's name is Benjamin, the mother is Beatrix, the son is Byron, the daughter is Bess, little baby girl is Ella, little baby boy is Hugh, and then the grandparents are Patrick and Mildred. I don't think this set originally came with any of the Underwood family, but it did come with this adorable pony whose name I believe is Brambles. Brambles is one of the old style ponies that we first saw in the Tomy range. These are obviously more animal than bipedal like the rest of the families, so they cause a bit of confusion when we now have a pony family in the range. They have this real mane and tail made of, it's kind of the same sort of feeling as like Barbie hair. But you can like brush their hair and tail, style it and stuff. And I think they have a really cute design. I know some people don't really like these older ponies. I was obsessed with horses and ponies as a child, but I never actually had any of these Sylvanian horses. I don't know whether it just didn't really compute for me for the animals also having animals. But looking at them now, I think they're actually quite lovely. I think that's all the introductions made, so let's get on and have a look at the caravan itself. So let's just pop the Underwoods off to one side for now. So you can see it's obviously on wheels, and then you've got the kind of main body of the building and the roof. I really like the colours on this. They're very traditionally Tomy. The stickers are very cute with these little birds and flowers, but very simple in its design. The way that Brambles attaches is with this saddle, so you can take the saddle off of these and have it separate as well, but once it's on there it gets on there quite strongly, so you could definitely pull it along with the pony. But it's got these kind of hooks on it that clip to the caravan, and then obviously you can take the saddle off as well and just have Bramble as they are. In the original version I think Bramble also had a kind of bridle where you could hold the reins from up here. That bit's been lost to time. But the saddle is, I think, most important for being able to pull it along. You could recreate a kind of bridle for the pony. The hair on here is in pretty good condition considering the age. It's not too tangled at all, which is lovely. I see some of them on eBay and their hair is just kind of all matted, which is a shame, but obviously that's what happens with this kind of hair when they're going through a lot of play. The wheels on the caravan do spin round, and then this front axle here, if I move that, you can see that that is hinged so it can go around corners and things like that. You can see it a little bit better if I turn it like this. You can see that whole front axle moves. The back one is fixed in place, but the wheels do turn nicely on that as well. Coming round to the front, you can see there's a little kind of step here, which is where you could sit your figure to hold the reins and drive the caravan. Benjamin nicely demonstrating that for us here. More of those cute little stickers with the birds. And then these doors do open up to the inside of the caravan. This one's a little bit warped, I think, so it kind of wants to scratch along here. I guess that's just to do with the age and the plastic. Coming round to the other side, you can see it's pretty much identical. There's windows on both sides, and those windows do open and close. Coming round to the back, you can see it looks very similar to the front with the stickers. It does have the addition of these nice detailed railings, and then it has steps which you can go up to get into the caravan. And then these can also fold up just like so for when you're going along. These also detach as well. They just kind of sit in these little grooves here, so you can spin them up and down or take them off entirely if you wanted to. This side is fixed in place, but the other side does open out. So let's have a look at that. So window there, as I showed you. This can click up into there, so you could have it open like this with the roof still on, or you can take the roof off entirely to really get in there. And then this bit folds down, so you can get in more easily to kind of play in the space, or you can have it up and just be able to kind of look into the space. This design is very similar to the one we see on the canal boat. That also has sides that can clip up, so you can see inside with the roof on, or take the roof off entirely. You can see here there's this little clip, and that's what holds the window part up if you want to still have the roof on and also see inside. The roof is a little bit, I think with the age of the caravan, some of the plastic has just warped very slightly, so the roof does sit on there. It's just a little bit difficult to sometimes get it on there quite. There we go. I think that's just normal with kind of toys of this age. It is getting on for 36 years old. That's crazy. So that's kind of the outside of the caravan, but you can see the inside is looking very bare. So let's go ahead and decorate that with all the little pieces that the set comes with. I think we'll just take off the roof for now so we can see a little bit better and there's a little bit more light. These windows do open as well. So it's got opening windows and opening doors on all sides. There's also this little piece here which also doubles as storage. It flips up and there's a nice little bit of storage under there that you can put your smaller accessories, bits and bobs if you're not playing with them. That again is similar to the canal boat. That also had these kind of storage benches. I think this is a bench and also doubles as a bed. I did forget to mention on the roof there is this little chimney part. And there's a slot for that just here, so it sits in like so, and that just sits on the top. I think I'd left it off because I wanted to point out, if you were buying this set secondhand, which obviously you would have to these days, this piece is sometimes missing because it is detachable, so just to keep an eye out for whether that piece is included or not, if that's something you're worried about, like getting a full set, because it does detach. Moving on to the interior, and I will just bring it a teeny bit closer. You'll see there's like these little notches and things here and here, and that's for pieces to clip into. So first up we have some nice storage hooks. These are kind of almost coat peg-esque, all in this brown plastic. And you can see that they slot just above the window here in that first little notch. We then have another storage shelf. This one looks like a very odd shape, but I'll show you what it's for when we get onto the smaller accessories. One hook on the back of that, so you can either have it this side or this side. I like that it's a little bit customizable with that. So you can either have it there, or you can have it over here. I'm going to have mine over here. We then have probably a more recognisable shelving unit with actual shelves and a little drawer that does come out. If you're buying secondhand, this is another one to watch. This drawer is often missing as well because it is quite tiny. So you might sometimes see that there's just a gap there. This again has one hook on the back, so can be alternated with that piece, but I'm going to pop this one just over here, like so. There's then a final piece that sits just here, and it is this piece. This is a clever little piece. I really like this. You can either have it like this, which is a kind of table format. It's got these little hooks here for more storage and also some little bits over here. Or you can open it out like so, and it becomes a little washing station. So it's got the sink part here and then a mirror as well. The mirror is in pretty good condition considering the age. And then when you slot it into place, this part holds it up, but also forms almost like the little pipe where the water would go away or drain away. And then you can obviously have it open or closed. The last of the larger accessories is this freestanding stove piece. This is just moulded out of a very lightweight plastic, but it looks like a kind of cast iron stove. It's got the door on it here where you'd put the, I guess, coal in to light it. This part doesn't open, it's all just one solid piece, but it is a nice freestanding piece. And on the box it shows that it goes just there, which I guess would make sense. Might burn the bottom of your cabinet though. Then we have a number of smaller accessories, and my set is almost complete, so I'll let you know the parts that are missing. So we have this kind of bucket basket kind of thing. I think it's probably a kind of storage situation. Nice, and it's a versatile piece. You could use it with other things, but it's good for storage in the caravan. There's then also a bucket, presumably to fetch water to go in the sink, because it doesn't have a tap, so there's no running water in the caravan. This has a nice metal handle and then nicely detailed for the age. The Tomy pieces are always a lot less detailed than, say, the Flare era pieces, but I think for the age this is a lovely piece. There are some hooks on the back of the caravan here, so you could hook the bucket up there if you wanted to. None on the front, but on the back there's two, so I've also seen people hook that one on there as well, just to make it kind of look a little bit more visually interesting on the back. We will pop them inside for the moment though, because we're decorating the inside. I guess I'll pop that by the sink, that makes sense. Then this interesting shelf. So what goes on there is actually some plates and saucers. So we've got one big plate and two little saucers. These have a little bit of kind of age spotting on the plastic, maybe sun damage, but it's not too obvious on camera. It's a little bit brighter in real life. But we've got two saucers and one big plate. These are pretty standard molds for the time. So we've got big plate and two little plates like so that just sit in there nicely, and it keeps them up out of the way and a little bit secure while you're going along. Then also for that shelf there is a place to hang this saucepan. This is a very Tomy Era level of detail for a saucepan. You can see it's just in the same white plastic as everything else, but there's these two little hooks here. You could hook it on either one, but it fits very nicely hanging on the wall as well. We then have two larger mugs or cups. I would call these mugs since they're so big. Again, very simple design in the same white plastic. Again, these have got a little bit of possibly sun damage on them or age damage. And the box shows them hanging from these hooks. I'm not quite sure how they've managed to do it. I guess like that, because they're a little bit of an odd shape to actually hang up here. But you can definitely do it like that with a little bit of manoeuvring. So again, just fills up that space a little more. And if you wanted to add more accessories, you could definitely use up more of these hooks. We then have some more cooking utensils. So we have a kitchen knife. Again, just the same white plastic, and also a kind of ladle or large cooking spoon for dishing up or making soup or something like that. And these go on these little hooks over here, so that one can go there like so, and this one can go on this side like so. I like the way that everything kind of has a place, so it's not all rattling around when you're trying to move the caravan along. You might have noticed on this piece there's a little kind of embossed circle on the top, and that is to hold this vase. So just a plain brown vase, but you can see it's got this kind of circle piece on the bottom. And that just slots nicely into that table just to keep it a little bit more secure in there when you're moving the caravan. Now this is one of the pieces I'm missing. This set came with kind of fabric flowers. So there were 3 fabric flowers and they would go in the vase, but I do not have those pieces for this set currently. Then we have some pieces for the final unit. So if we pull out this little drawer, we have some cutlery pieces. So it's 2 spoons, a fork and a knife. These are pretty standard molds for the time. You might have seen these molds before. They came with a lot of sets at this time. And they fit nicely into this drawer just to keep them nice and safe, especially since they're so tiny, just like that. We then have the 2 little cups that go with the saucers. This one you can probably see the sun or age damage the best on. I think you'd probably be able to get these back to white using that kind of retro bright method. I've never tried it myself, but it might be something I give a go at some point in the future, just to kind of tidy these up a little bit maybe. But they fit perfectly in this little shelf at the top here. And then for that final space we have this adorable little brown jug. Again, very simple in its design, but you can definitely tell what it's meant to be. And that slots in just there like so and gives you a very kind of full shelving units. It then also comes with a pink blanket. This is the kind of tricot fabric, and I'm guessing it's probably for the bed piece, so it doesn't look very comfortable. And then this also is with my set. A comb and a brush, I'm presuming for the pony. I'm not sure whether these actually came with the set or whether they're just things that have happened to get put with it over the years. So we'll put those in there like so. And then if we pop the roof back on, that's how it looks with the roof on and all the bits and bobs in. Now the flare version of this caravan comes with a great many more pieces. I obviously don't have that in my collection, but we can have a look at some pictures. You can see the concept of it is the same in that it has a place for you to be able to cook and wash, and also kind of little seating area, and then it has the sleeping parts up in the roof on kind of like fold down bunk beds. The way it opens up is a bit different as well, with the roof kind of being on a hinge. Lots and lots and lots of accessories. I really do like all of the accessories this one comes with. Also has a cute little lantern on the front and hanging baskets on all the little hooks. Really pretty kind of modernized version of this caravan. I did my top 10 modes of transport video quite a while ago now. I had actually selected that flare caravan over this particular version, and I think that was because the more modern accessories were kind of appealing to me. That it looks a lot more modern. There's a lot more in the space. At that point in time, I didn't have room to add either of them to my collection, but I've had a little move around in the Sylvanian room, which I will show you eventually. I don't know whether I have filmed that video yet or whether this one's come out first, but either way, I will be showing you that soon. That's freed me up a little bit more space, so I started looking at some of the sets that I would have liked to add to my collection but didn't have space for at that time. And this one, or this Tomy Era version, is just more nostalgic. It also formed part of my fiance's childhood collection, so we kind of had a half a caravan that needed to be sort of rebuilt almost, with some of the accessories and some of the other bits and bobs to make it a complete set again. So there was that nostalgia factor for more my fiance than me, because I didn't have this particular set as a child either. But I do love the colourway, and I really like how it matches with the canal boat that I do have, the Rose of Sylvania, and I did have that in my childhood. So there's definitely a certain nostalgia for this particular colourway of product. Either is a definitely worthy addition to your collection though, if you've seen this and are thinking you like this particular item or items. I'll just pop the underwoods in so you can kind of get a view of the size. It's not a very big space at all, so for a family of 8 definitely would be a bit squashed in there. I think my grandparents are probably going to live elsewhere and we'll just have the core family in here, but it is a bit of a tight squeeze for all of them. But I guess alongside the caravan they might also have some tents and things to pitch up when they're stopping for the night. It's really nice to reunite them with their caravan as well, because these badges are also from my fiance's childhood collection, so I imagine they probably were with the caravan during the 90s, so that's a nice little reuniting. And I think that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this vintage set with me. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.